Do you recall your first interaction with money?
As a matter of fact, I do. I was about, and this is not counting birthdays. Okay, this is actually like money I earned, for a living. I was like 10 years old, 11 years old, and I was helping my grandfather work. He does landscapes, so we would clean yards, and he would give me a certain amount of money. I remember my first $100 working with him, and my mom said, "Here, I'll hold it for you because you're too young. You don't know what to do with the money." I never saw those $100 again. Never saw it again.
Jesus, how are you doing today?
Good. Thank you. How are you doing today, man?
Pretty good. Thank you for asking.
Of course.
Thank you so much for allowing us to have an interview with you and for your support to the Moneymalistic channel.
Of course.
So, how old are you?
I'm 22 years old.
22. Great. You're very, very young. And where are you from originally?
I was born here in Tucson. Grew up in Mexico first 4 years of my life, and then came here to Sahuarita when I turned 4 years old for school, and I've been here ever since.
Nice. So, a total of 18 years here in Arizona. What is your favorite thing about Arizona?
Definitely not the heat. I would just have to say that it's close to home. Mexico is always my first home in a sense, and I love it over there. And just that it's close to home and close to family. A lot of my family lives in the area, and just people, everything.
Oh, that's great. Now, what do you do for a living?
So I work at the clubhouse, at the Rancho Clubhouse. I've been there for 4 years. I'm a maintenance worker outside, and then I recently just got a job at an automotive center in Tucson. So new beginnings, new opportunities. So can't complain.
So you already put your 2 weeks in?
I already put my 2 weeks in.
Don't worry, this video will be out once you're in your new position. Don't worry about it.
Oh, no worries, man. All good.
Now, when it comes to your job at the clubhouse, what would you describe as your most challenging thing?
Most challenging sometimes would just be getting through the days. It's not that it's a hard job. It's just sometimes they can be kind of long, and and then there's so much stuff you can do, whether it has to do with people, just cleaning outside. It's a really friendly place, but at the same time you do have a lot of responsibilities.
Okay. And what is one thing that you actually love or really enjoy about your job?
All the people. There's so many nice people. There's so many great people, not just coworkers, just residents. People. I can't complain about that.
Great. Are you going to school right now?
So yeah, I am currently. It's a training, pretty much, that I'm doing for a trade, automotive. But yeah, so if you consider that school, then yeah, pretty much.
Alrighty. And then what are your expectations for this new job?
Expectations that I have for this new job is just that it's going to be hard work, but that it'll be simpler than just being in like an actual college, university school, because I was never a good student, the best student, I would say, and I always had trouble, learning by the book. But with this being a trade, I'll be able to work more with my hands, visual learning, all that stuff. So hard work, but good work at the same time.
Oh, okay. So you went to college.
Yeah.
And then did you complete a degree there, or you didn't, or?
So I started college when I finished high school, and I went for about 3 semesters, and then after that, when COVID hit, I just dropped. That was my opportunity just to drop out, because I didn't really want to go to college at first, and then I just dropped out. But now I realize I need to have a plan B. I need to have some form of certification, some form of something. And so I said automotive, something that I can work with my hands with, that'll give me a good living and that I can learn and pick up.
Were you going to school the first time for an automotive degree or something like that?
No, I was going for film.
Okay.
For film, yeah. I was going for film, but then a lot of the extra, I forgot what the gen ed classes, there were like a couple that were pretty challenging. And then the fact being, you're a kid and, you just graduate high school and it's like, what I want to do this again for. And that was my mentality at the time. But, it's true what they say. As you get older, you see things differently. And I'm just glad I realized it sooner rather than later.
Now, what social class were you growing up?
I would consider myself probably middle class. We never We didn't always have a lot, but we did it. We weren't always in the struggle. There was never a lot or a little. It was always, midway through. Everything was fair.
Were there any challenges?
Oh, every now and then, yeah. Sometimes I wouldn't be able to play, sports how I wanted to, or when it came to baseball, I couldn't try out for every team because, financial wise, we weren't always there, or going to certain tournaments, I couldn't like the other kids, or I just things, that other kids had that sometimes I couldn't afford at the time. Yeah, things like that. And then, yes, that's pretty much it, I would say.
Would your family talk about money in general?
No. Maybe, if they were telling me, we didn't have enough to get so-and-so right now, or let's say I wanted 2 things and I could only have one because there was never that much, or there wasn't enough, little things like that. But no, they weren't really, it wasn't always really a topic in my household.
Good. Were they like private about money in a way?
I can say they were. Growing up, I had never really heard much about money, just like I said, just telling me when I couldn't get something because they didn't have money on them or whatever.
How old were you when you actually became aware of your financial status?
I didn't become fully aware till maybe I hit 14, 13 years old, around there.
Do you recall your first interaction with money?
As a matter of fact, I do. I was about, and this is not counting birthdays, okay? This is actually like money I earned, for a living. I was like 10 years old, 11 years old. And I was helping my grandfather work. He does landscapes, so we would clean yards, and he would give me a certain amount of money. I remember my first $100 working with him, and my mom said, "Here, I'll hold it for you because you're too young. You don't know what to do with the money." I never saw those $100 again. Never saw it again. But it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Probably would have spent it on something stupid anyway.
You could see it as like, you worked so that you could help your mom that $100.
That too. Yeah, you're right. I see. Yeah.
Now, what is the best financial advice you have ever received, and who gave you that advice?
Best financial advice that I've ever received would definitely have to be to save. Save, or like start saving, or even doesn't have to necessarily be early in life. Maybe like when you get a job, save because you never know when you'll need, that rainy day stash. And I heard that from family members, coworkers, and even older friends, friends that I have that might have been older, or older mentors, other mentors that I had that were older, but mostly family members, especially my parents, my mom, my dad, and they were always on it. Especially when I started working, it was like, save, don't blow it, save, and helpful tool.
So you're actually a good saver.
I'm not a good saver, but I do try to budget myself every now and then.
Good.
And I can't say it comes in handy.
Now, on the other side of the coin, what is the worst financial advice you've ever received? Who gave you that advice?
So I've never really received worse financial advice. A bad financial advice. I can say, from experience, or things that I've witnessed in my life, financial wise, one of the worst things you can do is rush into something you're not ready for. Moving out early in life, or putting down big payments on cars, or anything big. Like I said, I would like to say is, you should probably really think about what your plan is, what your goal is, and think, can I really handle it right now? Or is it just, me saying, because I want that adventure to happen now, oh, I'm going to rush out. And like, granted, there's people that move out right away, and even though they struggle, it doesn't mean they can't get on their own 2 feet. Everyone has a chance to make it on their own 2 feet. It's just sometimes people do tend to struggle more than they strive sometimes, because, they rush into things. And that's just from things I've seen.
Have you ever been pressured by any friends like, hey, you should move out of your parents' house?
Oh, man. I've been not pressured, but I've been like, like when I turned maybe 19, 18, I had friends like, bro, you should move out with us. Come on. Like, what are you still doing with your parents? Like, you should, me and a couple of guys, want to move out. I'm like, true, But what's gonna happen if one of you guys gets fired from your job, or if you guys don't have a stable job, or let's say something happens family-wise and you have to move back in with them, and then there we are having to split rent. Finding new ways to split the rent. Little things like that you really got to take into account for. Me, I'm not saying I'm not trying to say I'm a negative guy. It's just I think a lot. I try to really think about my actions, my choices, because at the end of the day, it's gonna affect me, not just me and even people around me. So I'm more of like, I'm very like, I think about a lot of things before I do it, my actions.
Is there anything else that you've seen through friends, family members, or any relatives when it comes to bad financial decisions? Or advice in a way?
Not really much that I've seen. Just maybe advices. Just make sure you know what you're doing. Have that plan, have that step when it comes to moving out, and then building credit. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Make sure you have something stable where you can hold yourself up and get that good credit score. Because at the end of the day, if that credit score goes bad, you're not screwed for life, but you will be digging yourself into a hole that will be a challenge to get out of. Same thing when it comes to student loans. Make sure you know what you're doing.
Have you seen people struggle with credit cards?
Yeah, I have actually. Yeah, I have family members who have struggled with credit cards before, and there's times where I witnessed, them arguing, back and forth about how we're gonna pay this credit card, or how are we gonna do the payment for next month, or this, or like, why is this credit card on here? Because this credit card order this credit, they couldn't even keep track of their own credit cards. You know what I mean? Little things like that, man. You just gotta take into account for, know what you're doing.
What were they buying?
Ooh, furniture, technology, like TVs, sometimes stereo equipment, jewelry even at times, and then they would pawn some things too, if I remember correctly. But yeah, man, a lot of furniture and electronics for sure.
I mean, a good thing is that you got to see that, and that way the repercussion of doing such an act.
Exactly, and I'm blessed for that. Like I said, that it's things like that that make me more aware and make me think about my decisions before I really make the step.
Perfect. Now, what is the best financial decision you've ever made?
Best financial decision I've ever made would probably have to be just, of course, saving. When I save and I don't go crazy, like shopping wise or whatever. But also, I'm a very generous guy, and I'm a strong believer. What you put out, you get back. And me being also very religious and man of the faith, I'm a big believer in helping people. So helping people, and giving back, is also finding that balance of having enough to take care of yourself, but also being able to help others. If anything, having that money there helps you help not just yourself, but others as well.
What is something you've done to help someone? Have you ever given like a big compensation for someone, or?
Yes, I have actually. There was a lady and her family, her kids, and I helped them. I had about $60 in my pocket, and I was able to help them get some food, and she got some groceries. Yeah.
How did that feel?
So I'll sound selfish. It felt good. But I didn't do it, because I wanted something back. I did it because it's the right thing to do. Doesn't matter what the person is or what they did. It's the right thing to do, man. It's like, you look at yourself like, if I was in that position, I want someone to help me, You get what you give, and you get back what you give.
So if you actually do that with people outside of your nucleus, out of your family, do you also do it with your family?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, don't get me wrong, when you're a young kid, you're like that's my hard-earned money. You're selfish at first, but then you think about it. What does mom and dad how much have they sacrificed for me? Why is it that much to just give back a little bit to them, to help them what they need, And then actually, after without even thinking about it, it feels good, because it's like your parents took care of you, and now you're able to help them out. So it's like that, you know what I mean?
I like that.
Yeah, of course.
Does it help you siblings?
Siblings, yes, them as well. My brothers, they play sports. They play baseball like I did, And sometimes if it's nice when I'm able to help fund their tournaments, because sometimes I couldn't go to my tournaments, or help them with give them things that I wish I could have had growing up. Because granted, I played sports, I played baseball, but like going back to that first question, or the second question, didn't always have everything like the other kids. And in my case, since my parents have extra help with me, I can help them out now, and they can experience some things I didn't get to experience, which sometimes feels good. You know what I mean?
Very nice. I mean, you're going through that cycle,
Yeah.
You don't want someone to go through something that you didn't like as a kid.
Exactly.
All right. Is there any other best financial decision?
If it comes to making investments and stuff, my car. My car, because that thing gets me from point A to point B. So I can say that was also a good financial decision, investment.
What do you drive?
I drive a Lexus IS 2006 Lexus IS.
Nice. How much did you pay for it?
I paid up front about $8,000. $8,000. So I had a good amount of money saved up.
That's really good. And then you just got a loan to pay it?
No, I just paid it off in full on my own.
Oh, wow.
Like I said, things like that take account for, can I really afford to pay this off? You gotta really think about what you're doing sometimes.
Good. Now, what is the worst financial decision you've ever made?
Shopping sprees. Sometimes when I go out, I don't technically tend to put a budget on myself always. And, I spend and shop and I get things that I use once or twice, or I won't even use. And it's just because like, oh, it's there and I have to have it. It's like you're a kid and it's like, oh, I have to have it. You buy it and then you use it one or two times. And this is, referring to clothing. A lot of it's clothing. I wasted a lot of money on clothing. So, those are big financial decisions I wish I could take back, because I could have saved so much more if I wouldn't have bought a lot of things.
Which has been your biggest or most expensive shopping spree?
Oof, I went to the Scottsdale Mall in Phoenix and I dropped about $500. That's like half my check right there, maybe even more than half my check, so depending on how good the check is.
What did you buy?
A bunch of clothes, man. Bunch of clothes, jackets. Jackets were a big thing. I love getting jackets, especially during summertime. That's when I went in the summertime when this happened, and everything's on sale for winter clothing is usually on sale, so it's like ooh, but they're still expensive. You know what I mean? I didn't really budget myself. I'm just like, screw it. I got paid. I have the money. I'll buy it. But little did I think, be like, what else could I have used that money for? You know what I mean? Insurance, oil change for my car, all things like that. You don't think about because you're so blinded by, the thrill of having something that you really want. Sometimes you don't really think.
How would you describe your relationship with money?
My relationship with money is fairly neutral. Not good, not bad. Like I said, bad experiences, overspending when I don't have to. And good experiences because I've always had enough. I've always had enough to help myself and my family and just others in general. I've always had enough. I've never starved.
Are you comfortable with your current financial situation?
So I'm neutral as well because I'm comfortable because, like I said, I have enough, but I would love to make more. And that's one of the big reasons why I'm getting this new job. Step up, learning new skills that will help me earn more for myself. You know what I mean? To better my life, my family's.
What would you describe as your top 3 financial goals?
House, car being Dodge Challenger Hellcat. It's always been my dream car. And just financially stable, man. Being able to help my family, myself. Again, I know I'm repeating myself, but like myself, my family, even my future family. You know what I mean? Family, my own family, things like that. Just being able to take care of everybody,
That's great, man. I like how you're always thinking about your family, not just yourself. I mean, yeah, sometimes, but you always put them in the picture.
I know. I always try to put them in the picture no matter what. You know what I mean?
If you could go back in time and change one financial decision, which one would it be and why?
Definitely would probably have to be to start saving earlier. Like maybe I would say start working, getting myself an actual job earlier, but it definitely just start saving, you know, because I did work little jobs with my grandfather, but like, I mean, those couple $100 after a certain amount of jobs, and this refers back to also working more with him could have helped me earn more. And, you know, a couple $100 after a while adds up. And that could have been like an extra couple hundred, maybe even 1,000 or a couple thousand. Not a lot, but like a couple thousand, you know, saved stash for a rainy day. You never know when you'll need it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, let's get started. Our first section called Would You Rather. I'm going to give you the cylinder.
Thank you, sir.
And then you're just going to be pulling 5 numbers, one at a time. You'll tell me what the number is. You can show it to the camera, you show it to me, and then once you're done, you'll tell us to the side, and that'll read the question to you. Are you ready?
Number 6.
Would you rather get $1 million right now or get $100,000 a year for 10 years?
100,000. Okay, and I'll tell you why. Because a lot of people, when you get everything right away, you tend to blow it.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not saying everybody's like that. But some people, and me knowing myself, I probably won't blow it all right away, but I know I'll blow it before the 10 years. In this case, if I'm get 100,000 every year for 10 years, I'll know I have something coming in, and I'll try to be a little bit more stable with what I have with me at the same time.
Sure. All right. Great answer. Let's go over the second one.
All right. I believe this is 18.
Would you rather get to eat out for every meal for 6 months every year or retire at the age of 55?
Retire at the age of 55. Because it's not always good to eat out. Okay, health-wise, financial-wise, and I'm learning right now, it's not always good to eat out. And
You eat
also,
out a lot?
Man, I eat out a lot, trust me.
It eats a lot of your check?
A lot of my check. That's more places where my check goes to. Or that's another place where most of my money goes to, eating out.
What's your favorite meal?
Definitely be wings, you know, like buffalo wings. Or buffalo chicken sandwich from Arby's. Heads up, they're gas. But I love chicken wings. I love chicken wings. But back to the question though, growing up, I've always had that mentality and the idea that was influenced by my parents to retire. Retirement is a good thing, you know? I mean, I know, because even after you retire, you always try to find something to do, like get another job, small-time job. But retiring is always beautiful too, because that's your time to really, you've already enjoyed a good amount of your life while working. But in this case, it's like you'll have some more time to even enjoy more and do something more that you maybe couldn't have done. And not only that, your retirement money, you know, that refers back to that first would you rather. It's like you have something coming in that's going to help you, you know, even if you have another small-time job, that's more for you to earn, more for you to help your family with, or help yourself out, you know, hook yourself up, treat yourself, your family, you know, little things like that.
Okay, great. Let's go over the third one.
All right. 26.
Would you rather have a bank account for every single financial goal or have one bank account that holds everything?
A bank account for each goal. And here's why. Because it's been in my experience when I first started, when I got my first account, everything was just it was just a checking account, all right? But then once I made little separate accounts for certain things, whether it's for savings or I had a goal, like let's say I was going on a trip and I needed to save money for that, it created that boundary of you're not touching, even though you can dabble into anytime you want, but it's that, it really helps mentally discipline yourself. For some people, not everybody. But for me, I feel like it creates that mental discipline. It's like that boundary where it's like, nope, I'm not touching that because it's for a goal. It's going to something. It's an investment. Think of it as an investment every time you're putting money into that. It doesn't matter how much money it is. It could be $1, it could be $100, it could be $1,000, depending on how much you make. It's an investment for something to come. Little things like that.
All right, let's go over the fourth one.
15.
Would you rather go to jail for 10 years for stealing $1 million, but get to keep it when you get out, or be on the run for the rest of your life with none of the money, but you get to avoid jail?
I would probably have to say 10 years. 10. And let me tell you why. Okay. I'm not saying I'm condoning theft right today, or that I'm a thief. No. Because referring back to, you know, me watching I watch a lot of TV. And what I learned is that when you're on the run, you can have all the money in the world, but when you're on the run, no place is safe. and you're never really home. Even though you have people around you, and I get it, home is where the family is, and it's true. But there's always something, that little piece missing, and that's home. In this case, if I do go to jail, I do my time. And when I get out, not only will I still be able to be at home with the people I love, no matter what I put them through, no matter how much time we've been separated because I'm in jail, I'll still know I still have that something to be able to take care, even though it was done by theft, by a crime, and crime doesn't pay. But in this case, I'll know I have that put away and I can use it towards myself and my family when I get out. Of course, maybe not right away because you don't want to raise suspicion, but little things you can start using it and investing for. And you'll still be able to be at home.
All right, let's go with the last one.
All right. 7.
Would you rather never have to worry about money or never have to worry about your health again?
It would definitely be health. Okay? And the reason why I say health is because money isn't everything in life. Of course, we need it. Granted, in the world we live in, the society we live in, economy we live in, we need money. But here's the thing, money isn't everything. You may not be the richest man in the world, but at the same time, you may not even be starving. Or you can be a homeless person, and still have maybe family. But the thing is, at the same time, if you keep your health up, your happiness, and you keep the people truly in your life and circle close to you, if you keep that first, there's always going to be somebody there to help. And maybe it may not even be family. I mean, of course, family, granted, but friends, a kind person, a kind stranger, and you met in the street. And me being a religious man, God is always there to help you at the same time. Again, this is all going back to, people's beliefs. And, I respect everyone's beliefs. Doesn't matter. You don't have to believe what I believe in. But me, I grew up learning that, yes, do all these things to help you so you don't struggle. But at the same time, money that's all I would hear from my mom. Yes, it's good to have money. It's good. You're earning money, but money isn't everything. It isn't everything. And that's why it's better to take care of yourself, your health, take care of those around you. And you don't always need money to take care of yourself or others. A lot of it can just come by doing little simple things, by being at home, helping out around the house, going to the grocery store with mom or dad, little things. Little things matter, and money matters, but it's not everything.
Okay. Alrighty. Great answers.
No, cool.
Now we're going to go over our second segment or second section called What Do You Think? This one is more about opinions and thoughts on money. Same activity once you're ready.
All right, man. Number 11.
What do you think? What are the top 3 financial goals that everyone should have?
Save enough to be stable, have enough to pay for a home, and take care of your family. Those are the 3 things. I mean, I know saving is the foundation of those 2, but I feel like those are the 3 things, just having enough to take care of you, having enough to take care of your family, and then having enough to provide a home. Because like I said, home is where it's at.
Excellent. All right, let's go over the second one.
25.
What does the term rat race mean to you, and what do you think about it?
Rat race, huh? Rat race. I can answer anything.
Yeah, anything you want. That's the beauty of this. Maybe you've never heard about this, maybe you have. Whatever you feel, that's what is going to be right, and what is going to be wrong, and what is going to be neutral, because there's no right or wrong answer.
So I've never heard that, but what I picture when I hear rat race is like Ratatouille. The 2 mice is just fighting for the cheese, and maybe the cheese could be like the money. Who wants it more? Who's earning it? Okay.
And what do you think about that definition?
What I think about that definition is the person who really works their hardest and earns the dollar is the person who appreciates and values it more. Rather, the people who do the bare minimum and maybe still get the same amount or barely get it all, it's, they're either, now I'm contradicting myself. Okay. So like there's people in the world who have things handed to them, and they don't have to struggle that much as others do, but they don't appreciate it as much. And sometimes they even get themselves into trouble because they know they have that to bail them out. That's one way. So there's technically 3 ways. And then there's the person who complains or, is not happy with what they have, but at the same time, maybe it's because they're not putting in each foot forward and putting in all their effort. While there's that other guy or that other person who's grinding it out, no matter what the outcome is at the moment, believing that the hard work will pay off, because it does pay off. No matter what anyone tells you, your hard work eventually will pay off. And if you earn that dollar, you appreciate it even more, because you worked hard for it and you really busted your butt for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, let's go with the third one.
22.
Does money buy happiness?
No, it does not. And here's why. This is referring back to what I said about family, home. Money isn't everything in life. And while money does, provide you with a lot of joy, but you gotta really think about it. How long does that joy last? You can buy a video game with the money that you have, but what's gonna happen when there's another video game that comes out and maybe you don't have the money to get that? Are you gonna be happy because you have that one? No, you're gonna want that one, and you don't have money for it because you spent it on that one. You know what I mean? While if you really learn to appreciate the people in your life and the things in your life, and things meaning, it could be, your education or your work, what you do in life, hobbies. If you really take the time, and of course, God, your religion, or even if you don't have a religion, whatever you would choose to believe in or not believe in, if you really take the time to appreciate and put those things first, you'll learn that you don't always need money to be happy. You don't. And that's what a lot of people fail to think. Of course, granted, you need money, but it's not where your happiness really is. And that's just coming from me.
Great. All right, let's go with the fourth one.
Number 2.
Is it necessary to have a college degree or education in order to be successful?
Definitely not. And I'm a strong believer of that. And granted, I'm not saying, if you go to college, it's like you're wasting your time. No, definitely not. By all means, go to college, get that degree. You're helping yourself out, don't get me wrong. But you don't need a degree to be successful. I've seen, and not seen a lot, but I've also always heard people who own businesses say, I'll give a kid who has the feel and the gut and who has just, the gift to do something, like a mechanic. No experience, no form of training whatsoever. He just did it by learning, tweaking a couple things, and he learned on his own. I will always, if I see potential in a kid with or without any education whatsoever, I will give that kid a shot with the experience. Sometimes experience beats that education level, because you can get a kid or somebody who just graduated from college, but they come out on nervous strike because they don't have the experience. While you get another guy or another kid, same age, who didn't do the time in school. Granted, maybe not because he didn't want, maybe because he didn't want to, or because he couldn't, but he was getting that experience. He was working with it while this person was in school. And they're more comfortable. They get a feel for it, you know what I mean? And that also refers back to the people who are more visual and hands-on learners. They can't do school, maybe because, they don't focus well that way, but maybe they're just naturals. That's what I get what I'm saying. There's so many people that are just naturals at a lot of good things. While the kid that's trying to get the education isn't so much natural. Or maybe, who knows? Maybe he went to school, he doesn't even like it, and he has to go do something else. Who knows? But I'm a strong believer in, you don't need an college education to be successful. And again, granted, go to college. I'm not saying it. I didn't feel college was for me. Of course, granted, I also went back because I also knew I needed to get some sort of form of certification, but that's why I'm doing trade, because it's not so much like I'm going for business or I'm going to get accounting or, things like that, because that's what people refer to sometimes at college. But me, I'm going for more hands-on training, something I'm going to use my hands for. I'm a visual learner. I work with my hands better, and it's going to sound silly, but musicians, I've yet to see, there's barely maybe a handful of musicians who went to school to study that and who are, big time artists. Like me, that's a hobby of mine, actually. I actually do make a little bit of beats on the side. And that was for a long time, I was trying to make that point to my parents, to my mother, like, I'm going to do this. You'll see, I'm going to make something of myself without a college degree. And that was, of course, I haven't done anything with that yet, but that's because, you know, my path took me certain ways that it's like, okay, I have to settle down. I need to slow down, rethink. You know, it goes back to that thinking, really think about what I'm doing. And I feel like maybe I should do this to really finance my plan A first. But yeah, no. Well, I know I got a little bit off topic.
It's all good.
You definitely don't need a college education to be successful in life.
Okay.
And you don't even have to be lucky. You just have to really want something and just have a goal and a path set to how you're going to get it.
Alrighty. Let's go over the last one then.
All right. 21.
What do you think? Is it better to pay cash for everything or pay over time?
A bit of both. There's both, I would say, because it's always, when you pay cash for everything right away, you don't have that debt, or you don't have that in your mind, like, I paid it all off, boom, I'm done. But in other cases, maybe you may not have as much and you have to do that. That comes in handy too. Like I said, but you just got to be responsible with that, because sometimes that can screw you over too. Like when it comes to building credit, that's what you do. You build credit. You make payments on certain things to build your credit, to show to the companies that you're responsible with the money, with their money that they're pretty much giving you to buy a car, a house, or whatever. You're showing them your form of responsibility. And because they're not going to give you your credit score, a good credit score, if you're responsible and you're like, you don't pay on time, or you're going over your limits, you know what I mean? You have to really be responsible when it comes to paying overtime.
Alrighty. Just to wrap it all up, is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience? Do you have any final thoughts?
All I gotta say is be smart. Be smart in life. Be smart especially when it comes to your finances. Be smart. Again, money isn't everything, but at the same time, you don't want to struggle that much either. Granted, sometimes, like they say, you got to struggle in life to really know what you're made of. And granted, that could be in financial, but financial wise, or with your inner self, whatever. But be smart with whatever decisions you make. Always think it through. Think of something, look at something and think of what it could be or where it could be in the future, or how it could be in the future compared to how it is right now. Like, look at something and just be like, I really need it. Or am I even going to use it in a few days, or in a few months, or in a few weeks, a few years, whatever it is you're getting. Like, instead of wasting all that on that I'm not going to use, why not use it on something I know will come in handy, but I need right now? Know your wants from your needs and save. I can't stress it enough. Saving will help a lot.
Yes. Thanks for your time.
Of course, man. Of course, anytime.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. Please support the channel by subscribing, commenting, and liking the video. The question of the day is the following. Let me know your opinions, thoughts, comments, and constructive criticism in the comment section, and I will see you guys on the next video.